Drama continues to swirl around the Michigan football program. But through it all, the Wolverines just keep on winning. Ahead of Saturday's big noon kickoff matchup at Maryland, Bruce Feldman offered an update on the situation, talking about Harbaugh's future with the university. Bruce Feldman: "It would not be surprising if Jim Harbaugh could be suspended for the bulk of the 2024 season along with the 3-game suspension from the Big Ten that Harbaugh is currently serving. The NCAA is still investigating both the alleged sign-stealing operation and previous recruiting violations, meaning more punishments could be coming that would impact the 2024 season." That was some potentially huge news, even as Harbaugh continued to serve his 3-game suspension, sitting out the game at Maryland. Offensive coordinator Sharon Moore was the acting head coach, and he's expected to do so again in the regular season finale against Ohio State. As far as the action on the field, Maryland gave Michigan all it could handle before ultimately fading in a 31-24 defeat. In the process, Michigan became the first program to win 1,000 games. That sets up an epic showdown in the game next Saturday. Check out my analysis for every key play in the game. Number 3 Michigan 31, Maryland 24 FINAL notes Michigan remains undefeated with the 31-24 win, one in which the Wolverines are happy to survive and advance to next week's showdown against Ohio State. Some thoughts on the Wolverines' 1,000th program victory against a Terps program that once again falls just short of that elusive marquee victory over a top 10 team. Number 3 Michigan vs. Maryland highlights. Is this the first game where we really saw signs of issues without Jim Harbaugh managing the clock and firing up his players on the sidelines? Perhaps, but it was much more a sleepwalking type of effort for the most part, as attention clearly might have been on the Buckeyes for the game next Saturday. It's probably safe to stop including Michigan QB J.J. McCarthy on any sort of Heisman list, as he was once again middling when dropping back to pass. He finished the outing 12 of 23 for 141 yards and an interception, forcing several balls to tight end Colston Loveland and not really finding much in the way of passes downfield. Some of that can be attributed to Roman Wilson going out in the first quarter, but a lot more of it just seems to be a passing game very much out of sync ever since that Purdue game. Blake Corum notched 94 yards and 2 scores on the ground, but the Michigan run game was not quite as effective as it has been. 45 rushes for 150 yards at just 3.3 YPC. That's a bit of a concern going into next week, as the usual push from the offensive line just wasn't there. Talia Tungavailoa has been one of the better quarterbacks in Maryland history by the numbers, but also might be among the most frustrating given his penchant for turnovers at the most ill-advised moments.